What's up guys, Coach Austin back with another Orange Theory workout video, and in today's video we're going to talk about rowing for distance, a specific time interval. Go as far as you can in whatever amount of time. Now there's a couple things that we want to keep in mind depending on how long the time interval is, because we definitely for sure want to adjust our intensity level based off of how long that row is. It's pretty common sense. If a row is very, very long, you can't approach that with the same physical intensity as you would for a row that's very short. So when it comes to manipulating our intensity, the two things we want to keep in mind are stroke rate and power output. Now, I say stroke rate first because this is the most important manipulation tool when it comes to effective rowing for a set amount of distance. Because if we just use the idea of the physics of if you are maintaining a certain continuous power output at a certain stroke rate, well, if you keep that same power output but bring your overall strokes per minute down, you'll be taking less strokes throughout the minute with the same power output that you had before. So thus you'll be able to go for a longer duration while still maintaining efficiency. So it's pretty simple. As the row for distance increases, we want to be reducing our stroke rate. Now, these reductions in stroke rate don't need to be drastic, but they should be there. For instance, you might approach a 2-minute row for distance with a stroke rate between 24 and 26, whereas if it was a 4-minute row for distance, maybe somewhere between a 22 and 24 strokes per minute. Again, it's going to vary depending on the person, depending on the body size. There's a lot of factors, but that's just, to give you a little example. Now, the second thing to manipulate here is your power output, because even if you're rowing at 20 strokes a minute, if you're pushing as hard as you can every single stroke that you take, well, you're going to fatigue early on. And so, again, you need to be adjusting your intensity, your push with the legs, depending on how long the distance is. Now, as far as what the exact amount of push you need is, guys, that's just going to come with practice. And so, the biggest takeaway with a row for distance is to use it as an opportunity to learn a little bit more about your body and the rower. Get nice and personal with this thing and just take the opportunity to feel out how your body is and how it works during your rowing efforts. Because as you row more and you come into each rowing effort with focus and determination to, do your best, you are going to get better. You're going to understand how your body adapts to how long the row is. So if you start out way too hot and you end up dying at the end of your row for distance, well, I hope you learned something. Next time you go back to that, try to go a little bit lighter. Do you know what I mean? Like there's going to be no specific formula, because you can't tap a speed and say, go rower, go this speed. It really is up to you to make your power output happen. So use it as a learning opportunity. Be sure to manipulate your stroke rate and change your power output depending on how long that row is. If someone told you to run down to the edge of the block and come back, you would approach that with a different intensity than if someone said, go take a lap around the city. You would approach that with a different mindset and a different intensity level. So that same thing applies to rowing. So I hope that helped, guys. Get out there and have a great workout.